Hello everyone! The subject for today's lore video takes us way back, deep into the origin lore described within the Warcraft Chronicles. That means that those of you that still need to read the Chronicles and you want to be surprised by it, be warned, there will be spoilers for the Chronicles in this video. If you don't want any spoilers, then let me just say thank you very much for watching so far, and please turn off the video right now. On top of that, if you haven't picked up the Chronicles for yourself yet, I can highly recommend you do so, because the storylines and the information, it's just extremely good. Anyways, for those that are sticking around, sit back, relax, and let's talk about how the Warcraft universe came to be. In the beginning, before even the cosmos took shape, there was light and there was void. The light swelled across all existence in the form of a boundless prismatic sea, yet as it expanded, someone's energies faded and dimmed, leaving behind pockets of cold nothingness. From the absence of light in these areas, a new power came to be, namely the void. A dark and vampiric force driven to devour all energy, twist creation inwards to feed upon itself. It quickly grew and spread its influence, moving against the flowing waves of light. The tension between these two opposing yet inseparable energies eventually ignited a series of catastrophic explosions, birthing a whole new realm into existence. In that moment where the light and void crashed with each other, the physical universe was born. The energies released in that moment, it raced across the cosmos. It brought life to primordial worlds without number. For many, many years, this universe expanded on itself, a universe we now call the Great Dark Beyond. This is what they call the physical universe, an infinite living realm with innumerable stars, worlds, and mortal civilizations. The most unstable of the energies that released in this explosion, they came together in an astral dimension that we call the Twisting Nether. The Twisting Nether exists outside of the borders of the physical universe, yet sometimes these volatile energies, they would tear through the veil of the Great Dark, flooding into reality and warping creation. The birth of the cosmos also sent shards of light throughout reality, giving life to creatures of wondrous and terrible diversity. The most common form of life to appear were the elemental spirits, primordial beings of fire, water, earth, and air. You can find these creatures on nearly every physical world, and many of them reveled in the turmoil that came with the early ages of creation. Occasionally, clouds of fractured light, it gathered together, and it gave shape to beings of far greater power. Amongst them, the beings we know as the Naru. The Naru looked out across the immeasurable universe, and they saw a realm of limitless possibilities. They vowed to use their mastery over holy magic to spread hope and nurture life wherever they could find it. Even more extraordinary than the Naru was the creation of colossal titans. Their spirits, known as world souls, they formed deep within the fiery core of a small number of worlds. For ages, these titans slumbered, their energy suffusing the celestial bodies they inhabited. When the titans finally awoke, they did so as living worlds. Cosmic winds howled across the gigantic forms, bodies shrouded in a cloak of stardust, skin crisscrossed with silvery mountain peaks, and oceans shimmering with latent magic. With eyes that shone like brilliant stars, they observed the young cosmos and they became enraptured by its mysteries. Whereas the Naru made it their goal to safeguard life, the Titans went on a different journey. They wandered the distant corners of the Great Dark, searching for others of their kind. This grand, far-reaching voyage would one day alter the course of creation and shape the destiny of all living things. So this is how the universe came to be. Light and void clashing together, cosmic explosions, and bam! The stage is set for every story that we know of, and every story that's still to come. Now in the old origin story, they described the birth of the cosmos as unsure. Some said that it was created out of a cosmic explosion, while some believed that a single entity was responsible for its creation. Now we know how it happened, now we know that for certain it was the cosmic explosion. So moving on from the creation of the universe, let's take a look at what the Titans did. No one knows when or why the first Titan woke up, but legend holds that his name was Aman'thul. Though Aman'thul was alone at first, he knew in his heart that more Titans had to be out there, so he explored the world of the Great Dark Beyond. It was a lonely journey at first, but in time he discovered other emerging world souls. He nurtured these souls, woke them from their slumber, and those that he did manage to wake up, they joined him on his quest of waking up more of their kind. In time, Aman'thul and his siblings became known as the Pantheon, with Aman'thul being the High Father. You also had Sargeras, defender of the Pantheon, Agramar, a lieutenant of the Great Sargeras, Eonar the Lifebinder, Kaskarov, shaper and forger of worlds, Norganon, keeper of celestial magics and lore, and finally Golganev, lord of the skies and roaring oceans. The Titans knew that they were incredibly powerful, so they set a code of temperance for themselves to control their power and actions towards the civilizations they encountered. We always knew that the mission of the Titans was to bring order to the universe, but that was apparently not their goal, that was just their method. Their goal was to find and awaken more of their kind by searching from planet to planet. Each world they encountered, they used techniques to check if there was a world soul present. First, they would pacify the world's raging elemental population, then they would reshape the world, and finally, they would seed it with life. In doing so, the Pantheon hoped to call forth the world soul inside and help bring it to maturity, but most of the time, they encounter planets with no world soul inside. That didn't change the Pantheon's methods though, and even the worlds without a spirit inside, they fell under their protection. To keep the planet safe and in order, the Titans empowered the primitive life forms on the planet to uphold the integrity of the ordered world, to make sure that the work was not undone. They also placed colossal machines in the surface of the worlds. Through these machines, the Titans could monitor what they've done, monitor these worlds, and if need be, they could purge them of life in case the evolution led them to disorder. To help the Pantheon with keeping an eye on things, as you can imagine, if you're going from planet to planet to bring order to the planets, you might not always be able to check up on the work that you've done, so Aman'thul, he called upon a mysterious race known as the Constellar. These celestial beings observe the many worlds ordered by the Titans, keeping an eye out for any signs of instability. When necessary, the Constellar could activate a failsafe procedure to remove life from the planets in the hopes of resetting its evolutionary process. You might remember this storyline from way back when during Wrath of the Lich King. In Ulduar, we fought with a Constellar called Elgalon the Observer. Elgalon, he scanned our planet and he found it to be corrupted.
It is in the universe's best interest to re-originate this planet should my analysis find systemic corruption. Do not interfere.
The planet was apparently in need of a reset, so Elgalon was about to send a code which would activate the device in Uldum and purge the planet of all life. Thankfully, we were able to smack some sense into the celestial being, and Elgalon gave us a different reply code which not only stopped the purge, it also gave Ronin a very beautiful speech.
Citizens of Dalaran, raise your eyes to the skies and observe.
For years, the Titans explored the universe, searching for more and more of their kind, but as they went along, fewer and fewer world souls were discovered. They kept going on though, pushing on, knowing that even with the many years behind them, they'd only explored a very small corner of creation. Yet, as the Titans worked on bringing life and order to the universe, another force was also hard at work in the distant reaches of the Great Dark. From the moment that the light and void clashed together, the moment that the cosmos came to be, dark spirits within the void, known as the Void Lords, they sought to twist reality into a realm of eternal torment. They had long watched the Titans go about their business. They were envious of their power. They sought to corrupt one of these world-shaping Titans into an instrument of their will. They pushed to manifest into the physical universe. They were able to warp some of the unsuspecting denizens of creation, yet they were unable to corrupt the Titans. The Void Lords were not discouraged though. They figured that if they couldn't corrupt a fully grown Titan, then they just had to attack it in its most vulnerable state while it was still slumbering. They pooled their power together. And of course, like the Titans, the Void Lords also didn't know which planets contained a slumbering Titan soul. To cover all their bases, from the Void they sent beings known as Old Gods to infect and corrupt as many of the worlds as they could. They hoped that at least a few of their minions would land on a planet containing a Titan spirit. The Old Gods, they contaminated mortal worlds and everything else that they touched. And although the Pantheon knew that the Void energies existed, they had no idea of the Void Lords or the Old Gods. Their attention was consumed by another dark force born from the Twisting Nether. Remember that this is a realm where light and void bleed together, engulfing it in constant strife. From it, the demons came, enslaved to unbridled hate and malice. They hungered for nothing less than the destruction of all life in the universe. The demons came in many forms, like two-headed void hounds, abyssals and infernals, the pit lords and the Nafrazim. They clawed their way into the physical universe, terrorizing mortal civilizations and bringing ruin to world after world. Especially the Nuff regime, they relished in infiltrating worlds, corrupting them from within, and watch as societies devolved and crumbled. The Nuff regime would then corrupt their population, twisting innocence into new and horrific breeds of demon. Now, destroying all life, it goes against the Titans' mission of bringing order and awakening more world souls and bringing life to the universe. So as the demons caught their attention, the Pantheon sent out their mightiest warrior, the noble Sargeras, to deal with them. Without hesitation, the great-hearted Titan set out and pledged that he would not rest until he had cleansed the universe of all demonic influence. For ages, Sargeras traveled to the worlds under attack, fighting to spare the mortal inhabitants from the invading demons. Some demons had learned how to use fell magic, but Sargeras noticed that others had the ability to wield void energies, originating from the Void Lords. These Void Lords were far more powerful than even the demons were, and their presence deeply troubled Sargeras. He wondered what the powers of the Void were planning to do and what their existence could mean for the universe. Yet, despite all of that, he carried on with fighting against the demons until he noticed something strange. In his many battles, he started to encounter demons that he had battled and vanquished before. After he defeated them in the physical world, their spirits simply returned to the Twisting Nether, where they could recover and return to fight another day. Killing them was only possible within the Twisting Nether or in areas of the Great Dark so saturated with that volatile realm's energies. Sargeras didn't know this yet. All he knew was that his current tactics were ineffective, so instead of doing what he'd been doing, Sargeras decided to build the demons a prison to contain them. With the aid of his fellow Titan Agramar, who was sent by the Pantheon to help Sargeras with his mission, Sargeras learned how to manipulate and shape energies from the Nether. He used this knowledge to forge a prison within the Nether known as Mardum, the Plane of Banishment. It would act as an impregnable pocket dimension from which nothing could escape. No longer would the demons be reborn after defeat. Now they would be contained within this prison, where they would languish for all eternity. Agramar and Sargeras, they fought shoulder to shoulder, a bulwark against the ravaging demonic onslaught. Although Agramar was inexperienced in battle, he proved a very quick study. Over time, he earned Sargeras' admiration, and he became the Titan warrior's trusted lieutenant. Their prison would soon overflow with demons, bringing peace to the cosmos. Demonic incursions, they would remain a constant threat to the Great Dark, but they did become increasingly rare. The Titans' worlds prospered, and life in all of its complexity flourished. With the remaining Pantheon bringing order and searching for more souls, Sargeras and Agramar held the line until the day came that Sargeras found out just how dark the Great Dark could be. To cover more ground, Sargeras and Agramar decided to split up, thinking that they could protect more worlds that way, and if the need be, they could call upon each other in times of dire need. Sargeras discovered a world infected by the old gods, and not just any world, a world with a slumbering titan inside. He heard the world soul dreaming within its core, but these were not the joyous dreams Sargeras recognized from other world souls. These were dark and horrific nightmares. The old god's tendrils had burrowed deep, enveloping the slumbering titan spirit in shadow. Some of the Nuff regime had also discovered this world, and they were chilling with the old gods on the planet, basking in their dark power. Sargeras captured these dreadlords and ruthlessly interrogated them, trying to discover what the hell was going on. The broken demon told the champion what they had learned about the old gods and the intentions of the Void Lords. If the powers of the Void were successful in corrupting a slumbering titan, it would awaken as an unspeakable dark creature. No power in creation, not even that of the Pantheon, could stand against it. In time, the warped titan would consume all matter and energy in the universe, bringing every mode of existence under the Void Lord's will. Sargeras, the undefeated champion of the Titans, in that moment he knew fear for the first time. He realized that the Void Lords, like the Pantheon, had been searching for Titans or nascent Titan spirits, each with their own plan in mind. Even worse, the realization dawned on him that this corrupted Titan could never be allowed to wake up. With sorrow in his heart, he used his blade to split the world in two. The explosion consumed the old gods and their energies, but it also killed the nascent titan. The situation was bad, and Sargeras immediately returned to the Pantheon as he summoned Agramar to his side. He explained to his fellow Titans what exactly he had learned, what he had done to stop it, and the Pantheon was stunned. They couldn't believe that Sargeras had taken such a rash action, killing one of their kind. They thought that with their aid, they could have purged the world's soul of its corruption. Their champion tried to convince them that what he had done was necessary, but none amongst them, except for Agramar, had seen the void or the demons. A heated argument followed, in which Sargeras expressed his growing fear that existence itself was already flawed. An idea that he had come to terms with following his encounter with the old gods. Only by burning away all of creation could the Titans stand a chance of stopping the Void Lords. In Sargeras' mind, even a lifeless universe was better than one dominated by the Void. Life had taken root in the cosmos once before. Perhaps, after they scoured it of its corruption, life would take root once again. His ideas horrified the Pantheon, especially Eonar the Lifebinder, reminded Sargeras that they had sworn to protect the living things whenever possible. Nothing could be so dire as to purge all life from the universe. Even Agramar, his trusted lieutenant, stood against his mentor, arguing that there must be another way to defeat the Void Lords. He tried to convince Sargeras to abandon this dark plan and reason out another solution, but it was far too late. Sargeras knew that they would never see reason, and if they would not help him expel the Void Lord's corruption, then he would do it himself. It would be the last time that the Titans of the Pantheon would see Sargeras as one of their own. Now, comparing this story to what we knew before about Sargeras and the Pantheon, we can see that the origin story has not changed a whole lot. In the past, I believe the very origin story was that the Nuff regime had corrupted Sargeras, but they retconned that storyline in order to introduce the Draenei and their origin story. It then became that the darkness of the universe slowly got to their champion, slowly got to Sargeras, and now we know that it's the Void Lords and their plans that are to blame. I personally really like it. Whereas the Titans were first set to just bring order to the universe, now we know that they were searching for more Titans. Whereas Sargeras was set to fall to the darkness of the universe, his despair and doubt that the Pantheon was unable to talk him out of, now we know that he was shaking in his boots for what would happen if the Void Lords succeed. He would rather see the universe empty of all life to be corrupted by the Void Lords, and as the Pantheon would not help him with this mission, he sought out help elsewhere from a prison created by his own hands. However, that's the story I'll save for next time, since we've been going on for long enough and we still have plenty of things to talk about. There are two things that I want to mention before we end the video. First of all, a piece of information that was given to us during the Warlock Greenfire questline. In this questline, we join Kennervad and Chewbacca as they interrogate the Doomguard and ask about his origin. The Doomguard says, "Before Sargeras freed us, we were the Titan's hounds, forever enslaved to police the use of arcane magics. Sacrificial magic was considered the greatest violation of life, and we were attuned to instantly punish those who delved into such delicious sorcery." Considering that the Chronicles describe the Titans unaware of the demons, I don't believe that this part of the lore is still canon. The demons that Sargeras and Agramar encountered were imprisoned within Mardum, and the rest of the Pantheon were not familiar with the demons or the Void Lords. That's why I say that this is no longer canon, but who knows, perhaps they can give a spin to it. Now, the second thing is a question that some of you asked me, which is, what are the Void Lords? And sadly, I don't have a clear answer. We have seen beings categorized as Void Lords before. One prime example would be Dimensius the All-Devouring. This being is responsible for the destruction of the Ethereal's homeworld called Karesh. How the Void Lord found Karesh is still hotly debated amongst the surviving Ethereals, but the effects of his coming were unmistakable. He opened countless gateways into the void and the Twisting Nether around the planet, bathing Karesh in arcane and dark energies. One of the mortal races hastily attempted to construct magical barriers around its city, but although the dark energies were blocked, the unimpeded flood of arcane energy tore away at the mortals' corporal shells and infused their souls with energy to transform them into Ethereals. This altered state proved to be a blessing in disguise, however, as they enhanced minds and magical abilities. It allowed the Inferiors to fight Dimensius and his limited forces to a standstill. Over the years, however, Dimensius eventually grew powerful enough to summon armies of fellow void creatures, forcing the Inferiors to flee into the Twisting Nether. We eventually teamed up with the Inferiors during the Burning Crusade, and we kicked the crap out of Dimensius. Now, because of that last part, I can't imagine that the Void Lords responsible for the Old Gods and Sargeras shaking in his boots, that these are the same as the Void Lord that was taken out by us. If I had to guess, I'd say that Dimensius is part of the power that the Void Lords were able to push into the physical worlds. They pushed to manifest into the physical universe, were able to warp some of his unsuspecting denizens of creation, yet they were unable to corrupt the Titans. That makes the most sense to me, that Dimensius and other beings that we've seen in the category of Void are just a very small, a very minor bit of power that the Void Lords possess. But keep in mind, this is just my interpretation. That's really all I wanted to add to this. Now, I'm not sure yet how I'm going to do the rest of the story. I want to talk about the Ordering of Azeroth. I want to talk about Sargeras' story, but I also want to cover the upcoming Illidan novel. I'm not entirely sure yet how it's all going to be released, but you can be sure that it's coming. For now, thank you very much for watching, everyone. I really hope you enjoyed the story so far, and if you want to read it for yourself, if you want more details, pick up the Warcraft Chronicles, since it's really, really good. Subscribe if you like my videos, and until next time, guys, see ya!
See your world through my eyes, a universe so vast as to be immeasurable, incomprehensible even to your greatest minds. I have seen worlds bathed in the Maker's flames, their denizens fading without so much as a whimper. Entire planetary systems born and raised in the time that it takes your mortal hearts to beat once. Yet all throughout, my own heart devoid of emotion, of empathy, I have felt nothing. A million lives wasted. Had they all held within them your tenacity? Had they all loved life as you do? Perhaps it is your imperfection, that which grants you free will, that allows you to persevere against all cosmically calculated odds. You prevail where the Titan's own perfect creations have failed.